want to tell you about something I tried for almost 3 months, convinced it would change everything. I had read somewhere that you could learn a language while sleeping. Just play English audio quietly through the night, and somehow, while unconscious, your brain would absorb it all. It sounded almost too good to be true, which should have been my first warning sign, but I was desperate enough to try anyway. So, every night for 3 months, I fell asleep with English playing softly through my headphones. Podcasts, slow conversations, even simple vocabulary lists recorded in a calm voice meant to be soothing. After 3 months, I sat down to actually test myself, and the results were almost embarrassing. I hadn't learned anything meaningfully new at all. My vocabulary hadn't grown, my listening comprehension hadn't improved beyond what regular daytime practice would have given me anyway. I felt confused and a little frustrated, so I started looking into why exactly, and what I found changed how I think about sleep and learning completely. My name is Emma, and this is Train Your English Brain. Here's the first thing I learned, and it's almost the opposite of what I expected going in. Your brain doesn't actually learn new information while you're sleeping, not in a meaningful, structured way. Sleep is incredibly important for memory, as I've talked about before in this series, but its role is consolidation, not acquisition. This is a crucial distinction. Consolidation means strengthening and organizing information you already encountered while awake. Acquisition means learning brand new English vocabulary, words your conscious mind never actually focused on, and somehow absorb them into memory just because your ears physically heard the sounds. This is exactly why my 3 months of overnight English produced almost nothing. The vocabulary playing through my headphones wasn't material I had already studied and was now consolidating. It was completely new information, encountering an unconscious brain that simply wasn't equipped to acquire anything new in that state. I want to explain why this happens because the reason is actually fascinating once you understand it. Learning new information requires something called encoding, the active process of your brain paying attention to something, connecting it to existing knowledge, and beginning to form an initial memory trace. Encoding requires consciousness. It requires your attention to actually be directed at the information in question, even briefly. This is true whether you're learning a language, a name, or anything else entirely. While you're sleeping, particularly during deep sleep stages, your brain enters states specifically designed to prevent exactly this kind of external information processing. This isn't a flaw in how sleep works, it's actually a crucial feature. Your brain needs protected time, free from new external input, specifically so it can focus entirely on reorganizing and strengthening what you already learned while conscious. If your sleeping brain were busy encoding new audio playing through your headphones, it would have far less capacity to do the consolidation work that sleep actually exists to perform. In other words, the very thing that makes sleep so valuable for memory, its protection from new external input, is exactly what makes it useless for acquiring brand new English vocabulary you've never consciously studied before. I had a student named Wei who had tried something similar to my own experiment, and his story adds an important piece to this puzzle. Wei told me, "Emma, I tried sleep learning too, but I added something different. I listened to vocabulary I had already studied carefully during the day, not brand new words." And he noticed something genuinely interesting. While his vocabulary knowledge didn't dramatically increase from the overnight listening itself, his sleep quality noticeably worsened. He woke up more tired more often during the nights he played any audio at all, regardless of whether the content was new or familiar. This actually points to a second important problem with sleep learning, beyond simply not working for new acquisition. Audio playing during the night, even quiet, calm audio, can genuinely disrupt sleep architecture, the careful cycling between different sleep stages your brain needs to complete properly in order to do its memory consolidation work effectively. Even background sound that doesn't fully wake you up can subtly interfere with this delicate process, meaning sleep learning doesn't just fail to add new learning, it can actively reduce the consolidation benefits you'd otherwise get from simply sleeping in a quiet room. So, if sleep learning doesn't work the way the myth suggests, what should you actually do with your nights instead? The first thing, and we've discussed this before in this series, is to use the time right before sleep while you're still fully conscious to review material you've already studied. This pre-sleep window genuinely does enhance consolidation, but crucially, the studying itself needs to happen while you're awake and attentive, not while you're already sleeping. The second thing is to protect your actual sleep as quiet, uninterrupted time free from audio entirely, allowing your brain the undisturbed conditions it needs to properly consolidate everything you exposed it to during your waking hours. This might feel like wasted opportunity if you're used to thinking more input always equals more learning, but protecting quiet sleep is itself a powerful learning strategy, not an absence of one. The third thing is to redirect the time and effort you might have spent setting up sleep audio into something during your waking hours instead. Even just an extra 10 minutes of focused, active listening practice before bed. That 10 minutes of genuine, conscious engagement will do far more for your English than entire nights of passive audio playing into unconscious ears. I want to come back to my own 3 months of failed experimentation because eventually I changed my approach completely. I stopped playing audio while sleeping and instead spent those same final minutes before bed actively reviewing vocabulary, fully awake, fully focused. Then I let myself sleep in complete silence, trusting that protected, undisturbed sleep would do its consolidation work properly with whatever I had just given it. Within a few weeks, I noticed something my 3 months of sleep audio had never produced. My vocabulary retention actually improved, not because I had discovered some secret overnight shortcut, but because I had finally stopped working against the very system designed to help me and started working with it instead. If you've ever tried or considered trying learning English while sleeping, I want you to understand clearly why it doesn't work, and more importantly, what to do instead. Sleep is not a secondary classroom where new information quietly gets absorbed without effort. Sleep is a maintenance period, essential and powerful, but only for what you've already consciously encountered. Give your waking hours the active attention real learning requires. Then give your sleeping hours quiet, complete protection, and trust your brain to do the consolidation work it's already perfectly designed to handle without any audio playing in the background at all. My name is Emma. I will see you in the next episode.